A new world title. Fast Classic. Rapid. Blitz. One world tour. All formats. One champion. Across every format, pressure adds up. The strongest becomes the FIDE World Combined Champion. This is the Total Chess World Championship Tour, coming in 2027.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have a fourth World Championship for chess. FIDE have just announced the FIDE World Combined Champion. And that man on screen, for however long he's on, will Magnus Carlsen return and become world champion again. Well, what's going on? Well, FIDE have just announced the Total Chess World Championship Tour. The tour is a new FIDE-approved championship series organized by the team behind Norway Chess. For those of you who don't know, Magnus Carlsen is not only the Norway Chess champion and has won like 7 Norway Chess titles, he is Norwegian. Its goal is to crown the World Combined Champion, the player who performs best across the 3 time controls. Fast classical, so like an hour on the clock of like 45 plus something, rapid, and blitz. It's not replacing the World Classical Championship or the World Blitz Championship or the World Rapid Championship. It is now a 4th world title. It's complementing it. FIDE and Norway Chess are emphasizing their coexistence. The tour will consist of 4 events per year in different global cities, and the total annual prize pool will be about 2.7 million US dollars in about 2027 or so, with some events maybe to take place next year. Fast Classical is one of the innovations, a fast classical format of about 45 minutes plus 30 seconds increment. Under FIDE rules, games in the fast classical format will count as classical rated games, which will be important in the future for things like the candidates or like Hikaru playing his minimum required number of games, and it is a faster time control. The Rapid and Blitz, we know what those type of controls will be, and they will be around the fast classical as well, and the intention is to test the versatility of the players, so it's the best all-round player who wins. Tournament phases. Kind of reading through the article. You can find the article on chess.com, on FIDE. If you go onto Twitter, you will be able to find it on the FIDE page, the Norway Chess page, and the Chess24 page. The first 3 events will feature about 24 players competing across these formats, and then the top players then move to a final tournament to fight for the overall champion. In the final, they play again a mix of fast classical, rapid, and blitz. The qualification field and tournament structure. Each tournament will include 24 players. Some players will be selected by rating. Others will qualify through existing elite tournaments, such as the World Rapid and Blitz Championships, to be held at the end of 2025 and at the end of 2026. For example, the winners of the Rapid and Blitz Championships may receive direct invitations. The 4 finalists from each leg advance to the grand final. Make sense? Prize funds, it's, about each event it offers a prize pool of about 750,000, and the final one is 450,000 for a total of about 2.7 million, and there will be some performance bonuses in there as well. So a pilot event is scheduled for the fall of 2026, so that's about this time next year, and the first full season will be in 2027. The agreement between Norway Chess and FIDE was obviously signed here in October of 2025, and the traditional Norway Chess tournament will still take place in 2026, which Magnus Carlsen will probably win again. One more thing before we talk about Magnus Carlsen. The relationship to existing titles in FIDE's role. This is a 4th world championship. It's not replacing any of the existing 3 world champions. So yes, we as chess fans do have to very much say we've got 4 world champions, unless a couple players double up. And if you count the women's ones as well, it's like 10 world champions, which is weird. FIDE sees this as an innovation, giving fans more excitement and giving players new incentives. There have been a lot of people who are not happy about this, following on X. People may argue about title inflation, too many world titles. FIDE and Norway Chess aren't too worried about that. There is concern over a women's edition. There hasn't been any, or is there a separate women's bracket? How are the women going to feature in this? Are they going to have their own separate FIDE women's combined world champion, or are they going to fall under this? And also, are we still going to have Norway Chess after 2026? Let's talk about Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen, the man everyone wants to talk about. Magnus Carlsen won Norway Chess 2025 for a 7th time. But what is interesting is he has withdrawn from the classical World Championship cycle. He withdrew in 2023 after he said he would not defend. Oh, I hope you didn't hear the notification. He would not defend his World Championship, and ultimately the match was then held between Yannick Bomnich and Ding Liren. Ding Liren on to win, and Ding Liren went on to then lose to Gukesh, who's now the current classical world champion. And last year at the World Rapid and Blitz, there was a huge blow-up between Magnus and FIDE. It did have something to do with genes. And they were at odds with each other, to the point, well, I don't want to say to the point because this was already in the works. Magnus has barely played any FIDE events this year, and for a large portion of the year has pretty much said he's not playing again. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I did see a clip that he said it's gone from a no to maybe he will play the World Rapid and Blitz later in the year. Knowing Magnus Carlsen, he probably will play the World Rapid and Blitz. But what is going to happen? So Norway Chess organizers have said they talked with Carlsen and 2 or 3 other players about joining the tour, and that the feedback was positive. In Indian Express coverage, they mentioned Carlsen, Gukesh, and Ding Liren among players who may have shown interest. If Magnus Carlsen wins, he could claim another FIDE world title. This doesn't count as the classical, but it's as close as we're going to get. And while he is the World Blitz champion, he may not even defend that title. And quite honestly, this is what Magnus Carlsen wanted. When he withdrew, he wanted to change to the classical world format. He wanted more rapid, he wanted more blitz. I think this is the world title that Magnus Carlsen wanted. He wanted it not to just be for classical chess. He wanted the best overall player across all formats, time controls of chess. This is what he wanted. I wouldn't say I would be shocked if he doesn't play, because he's not on great terms with FIDE, but it seems like bridges are being mended. Bridges are being mended. Ha. And it's also being done through Norway Chess, an organizer he knows very, very well, team he knows very, very well, that know him very well. He's got a good relationship with them. I mean, he hasn't played many classical games, but he did play Norway Chess, which was a classical chess tournament. So if Carlsen participates and wins, he could claim a FIDE world title, but under more flexible and diverse conditions. And let's be honest, his involvement would also legitimize the tour, drawing, audiences and sponsor attention. Would it get viewed? Yes, 100%. If Magnus is playing, much, much better. Much better. But this hasn't been, received by everybody with open arms, shall we say. People are arguing about title dilution. With more world titles, fans feel the prestige is weakened. Complexity, combining the 3 formats, make the scoring and the narrative harder to follow. Logistics, finding host cities, managing global scheduling, broadcasting demands, inclusivity, traditionalists, who resist for those who believe classical chess should remain supreme, execution risk, a pilot may expose design flaws. There is some feedback that hasn't been well received, shall we say. Of course, people always blame Magnus Carlsen for manipulating the system, which is 100% understandable, but this is what he wanted, and it's interesting going into the future, because what happens if this becomes the only World Championship? That is something that people don't want to talk about, but this could be the future of chess, where we do away with the one-on-one match for the Classical World Championship, where we do away with the way the World Blitz and the World Rapid currently work, that's always held at the end of the year. It could just be this long tour, like in tennis and some of the other sports, where you combine all three time controls. You have to be the best all-format player, and that will decide our world champion. When you say it like that, it makes a lot of sense. But it's so shocking. It is a block of ice just down the shirt to think about. But it could very well happen. But that's just my thoughts, my opinions. I'm a nobody, really. But that's the news. I think we're going to see Magnus Carlsen back playing classical chess for FIDE to compete for a FIDE world title. What do you think? Let me know in the comments or reach out wherever you can and tell me what you think.
A new world title. Fast classic. Rapid. Blitz. One world tour. All formats. One champion. Across every format, pressure adds up. The strongest becomes the FIDE World Combined Champion. This is the Total Chess World Championship Tour, coming in 2027.
But I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think